Hello everyone, welcome to the Archipelago live stream. I'm Liam, one of the preset developers here at Archipelago, makers of Lightroom presets and creative profiles. So this is our big announcement. Very excited to have you here if you are tuned in live or if you're watching this replay back. Excited to share the news with you today. So I'm going to get on to what that news is shortly. But welcome if you tune in live. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join me. I can see there's a lot of excitement and anticipation in the chat for this announcement. I'm very honored to be the one to share this with you today. Welcome, welcome. If you are tuned into the live chat, as always, we'll be doing a giveaway. You might have noticed at the start of the stream and also just to my side here, we have a brand new Archipelago logo. This is the first time anyone's getting to see this brand new logo. So we'll be doing a giveaway in this live for one of these t-shirts. This features that brand new logo. This is a first of its kind and no one has one of these t-shirts yet. We'll be doing a giveaway in the live chat to get your hands on one of these t-shirts with that brand new logo. So all you need to do is make sure you hit the subscribe button on the channel, give the video a like, jump in the chat, say hello, let us know how excited you are for this announcement. And we'll be choosing from the people that are chatting away all the way through the stream to win a free t-shirt with that brand new logo on that you see there. So definitely stick around to the end. That's when I'll be announcing the winners for free t-shirts. But of course, we'll be getting on to the big announcement in just a moment. This is stunning. Love the style of this logo. Thank you. Yes, we're very, very happy with that new logo. Oh, look at that. Richard said we're feeling very generous today. So there might be a few t-shirts flying about during this stream. Taylor said, been dying for Archipelago merch. Well, there you go. You might have got your chance to get your hands on something. Blue is definitely my color. Love it. All right. So big news time. So we've obviously shared over the last few days that we've got big news, which I'll be sharing in a moment. Don't worry. Trust me, I'm ready to share this because we've been working on this stuff in the background for months. So I'm super excited to finally be able to share what we've been working on. So yeah, trust me, if you're excited, I am too. All right, so the big news is we are launching an entire new lineup of presets, and a brand new lineup will be retiring all our current Archipelago presets and replacing them with a new lineup of core presets. We'll be launching 4 sets at the same time. That's 4 brand new core preset collections launching at the same time. And they're going to cover 4 different styles. We have True Color, Filmic, Moody, and Earthy. So 1 set for each. And they will form our brand new core preset collection. Each of those sets comes with obviously the base desktop presets. They also now include mobile presets. They have a dedicated tool set. They of course come with creative profiles as well. And like I said, 4 brand new sets launching at the same time. So like I said, they cover those 4 different styles: True Color, Filmic, Earthy, and Moody. We'll also have, and this is going to be launching down the line, we'll have limited edition or limited release preset collections alongside those core sets. And those will explore different styles and they'll be available for a limited period of time and then get retired. And that just allows us to cycle through lots of different styles, keep your creativity flowing, keep inspiring you and bringing out new and exciting things. So that will be our limited release sets. That won't launch at first. You're going to see that a little bit later. The 4 core sets are going to launch first. We've also got some tool sets as well. The wedding tool set and portrait tool set, those are both available. They're ones that we've previously released through Quest, and we also had on the newsletter for the wedding one. Those are going to be available permanently on the Archipelago Presets website. So you'll be able to purchase those as well. And alongside a borders tool set, and that's essentially a collection of borders from many different sets, Quest sets and Archipelago sets, some of the best borders we've created to date. We've kind of collected together into sort of a master pack, and that is the borders tool set. That's also going to be available. So those 3 tool sets are available at launch alongside the 4 core preset collections. And remember, those preset collections come with their own dedicated tool sets and mobile presets and creative profiles. So lots and lots of good stuff coming your way. Now in this stream, I'm going to give you an early preview of those 4 core tool sets. So you're going to get to see for the first time what they look like, how they perform, what's included with those sets. So you're going to get to see those. I will be doing more in-depth live streams once these sets have launched. Now we're not sharing the launch date yet, but let me tell you, it is very imminent. So 2 things. 1, if you like what you see in this stream, don't worry, you won't have too long to wait before you get your hands on these. And 2, if you have got your eye on any of our current Archipelago sets, don't wait, because they are going to be retired soon. As soon as the new ones launch, the old ones will be retired. So don't kind of snooze on those if you have your eye on them. I can see in the chat, credit card is waiting. Love that. So yeah, I'm going to show a preview of those in a moment. Once they have launched, I'm going to do a dedicated live stream for each of those core presets, so a little bit more in depth, just so you can kind of get to see more of what you can do with them, maybe answer any questions you might have got, just kind of showcase how to get the most out of the set. So yeah, launching very, very soon. The brand new core preset collection, those tool sets, and then we'll also be releasing those limited edition sets as well. Liz said my bank account is scared, but I'm so excited. Is Quest still going to be available? Absolutely. So Quest is going nowhere. Quest will continue as it is, where we release a new set of presets every single month. If you're a member, you will still have your benefit of a discount off the regular Archipelago presets. All that's staying the same. We're just retiring the lineup of Archipelago presets and replacing them with these new ones. And I think you're going to absolutely adore them. We're super excited about these sets. We've been working very, very hard on them, like I said, for the last few months. We're really proud of what we've created, and I think you're going to absolutely love what we've got for you. Will current presets be on sale? They absolutely will, and they absolutely already are, I believe. So yes, if you have got your eye on a current set, do pick that up. All right, so just as a reminder for anyone else that's tuned in late, this is our big announcement. Obviously, we have just shared that we'll be launching an entire new range of presets. I'll just remind you as well, though, if you are tuning live, you're in with a chance of winning one of these. This is our brand new t-shirt with our new logo on it. So if you are tuning in live, make sure you hit the subscribe button on the channel, give the video a like, jump in the chat, say hello, keep chatting away as we go through the rest of the stream, doing the editing with these new sets. And we'll be choosing from those people to win some t-shirts on this stream. All right. Cassandra said, I'm so excited to see. Well, let's get on with that. Let's switch to the editing screen here. So the first set, in fact, let me just switch back. I'm going to just kind of run through the description for the first set, and then we'll kind of take a look at that particular set. So the first one we're going to look at is the Moody set out of the collection. This one's called Light and Ember, and this is the Moody preset collection. So I'll just read the overview description for this set for you. So Light and Ember was developed with the emotive storyteller as its core inspiration. Those who yearn for imagery that encapsulates the soul and the soft intimacies in every fleeting moment. Moments where narrative and history mean just as much as light and color. With an unparalleled richness of depth and mood, Light and Ember delivers this and so much more. All right, so let's get on to the editing screen. So I've got these 8 images. I'm going to edit 2 images with each of the sets, just so you can kind of get a little bit of a preview of what you can get from these sets. So the first image here, this one is from Bernadetta. You can see the photographer's name, as usual, up at the top left, along with their Instagram handle. So do keep an eye on that as we go through the stream. So over on the left-hand side, you can see these brand new sets. So the sets are all named in a cohesive way. So you can see they're all Light and then a name. So that first set we're going to look at is Light and Ember, but we also have Light and Legacy, Light and Ochre, and Light and Truth. And each one sort of kind of the naming suggests the style that goes with it. So this first one, Light and Ember, is the Moody preset collection. So let's take a look at what's actually included in this set. I'm going to start off by just setting the exposure and the white balance on the image, as we always should, and then we can take a look at the presets themselves. So I'm going to bring the exposure up quite a bit on this, Really, really stunning image from Bernadetta here. I'm going to bring a little bit more warmth in. Somewhere around about there feels good to me. Okay, so let's take a look at Archipelago Light and Ember. So you can see we have the core set up at the top here, and below that there is a separate Light and Ember tool set. So as I mentioned before, each of those core sets comes with a base preset collection. There is also a mobile preset collection that you can install directly onto your mobile device, iOS or Android. You don't need to synchronize it through Lightroom CC or that kind of stuff. You can just install it straight on mobile. And they also come with a dedicated tool set there as well. So you can see they're separated out. You have the core presets, the base presets, and the tool set. So we'll take a look at the base presets first. So I'm going to do sort of a hover through each of those presets. So L and E1. So this one uses masking. It obviously has the AI capability within Lightroom. So we'll give that a second for it to mask the subject and the background out and give us the rendition. So this is Light and Ember 1 as a one click. Super beautiful, nice and moody look, really nice, rich but subtle tones. So Light and Ember 1 is quite a balanced look to it. Light and Ember 2, we have a nice push in warmth, still retaining that mood, but it pushes in more warmth into the image. I just love the tonality of this one, the way it kind of all looks really seamless and cohesive. Light and Ember 3. A little bit more magenta in there. There's a little bit of a different contrast level to it as well. Light and Ember 4. Happy that Quest is staying, but really excited. Thank you. Love that warmth. Light and Ember 5. This one's the most cool toned in the set. And then we have Light and Ember 6, which is the black and white. Super nice, beautiful, beautiful mood. So let's take a look at what we're going to use on this one. I think the warmth is pulling me in. I'm going to go for Light and Ember 2. And if we take a look at the top right, we have the Light and Ember creative profile. So that's set to 100 as default. If I bring this to the left and then to the right, you can see how it shapes the light and the contrast within the image. So if you want to go for something really soft, really muted, you can do that by bringing the creative profile down to 0. Or you can increase the creative profile and go for a little bit more of a contrasty look where it has brighter highlights and deeper shadows. I really like the default amount on this. It looks really, really beautiful. I'm going to leave it there for now. So let's take a look at the Light and Ember toolset. Now with the presets, as you apply them, there are some masks on here already. So these are just the masks involved in the base presets, just to kind of render the subject and the background separately and just to balance out exposure. So those are applied already. And then in the tool set, we have more tools that use those masking panels. So the first ones are Dynamic Mix. So we have Dynamic Mix 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then below that, we have some individual tools. So we have Diffuse, Background, Contrast, Saturate, Vignette, Grain, and Lens Correction. And then right at the bottom, there is a Reset Tools option. So the Dynamic Mix tools up at the top there, they actually use all of these individual tools down here in a specific combination. So it's a quick way to get almost like a recipe of those tools mixed together so you can kind of achieve a particular stylistic look with one click. And then you have the option, you can either leave it there or you can go in and dial each of them. So you can either choose them from here, or you can go into the masking panel and tweak each of those layers. So let's start by taking a look at the dynamic mixes themselves. So this is Dynamic Mix 1. So you can see that's a much different look. It darkens things down. There's a little bit of a vignette being pulled in there. You can see how the light is shaped quite differently. So it's changing the contrast levels. It's changing the saturation levels. It's adding a vignette. It's doing multiple different things. So that's Dynamic Mix 1. Then we have Dynamic Mix 2. So it still has that very moody look, more contrasty that Dynamic Mix 1 has, but it's got more saturation running through there. Really, really nice. And then we have Dynamic Mix 3. Now this one and the next one also include lens correction. So if that's not already applied, these mixes apply lens correction. So they give a little bit of a lighter look to the image. So this is Dynamic Mix 3 and then Dynamic Mix 4. So for this, I'm going to go for Dynamic Mix 2. I like that extra rich warmth that's coming through there. And now if I go into the masking panel, you can see it's applied a certain combination of each of those. So some of them it has disabled, some of them it has set, to 50, some it has set to 100. So it's a mixture of those different tools. So from there, we can go into each of these layers and we can increase or decrease those options. So if we went to diffuse, for instance, we could go for a more diffused look by increasing that particular effect. So really, really easy to control and dial in. And of course, the other option you have is rather than using a mix, you use these tools separately and apply them one at a time, or just the specific ones you want to apply, and set the amount. So super easy. Let me show you this as a before and after. So that's edited with L and E2. We've left the creative profile set to the default amount of 100. We've used dynamic mix 2, and I just changed the diffuse amount in the masking layer over here. Of course, we can go through and dial that further if we wanted by using the various different tools here. If I wanted to turn lens correction on, for instance, you could do that from there. The bottom option, the reset tools, is as simple as it sounds. If I hover over this, it will show you the preset, the base preset as it was without any of those tools applied. So it just turns all those masking layers off and goes back to the regular version of the preset. So if you want to very quickly reset things back and maybe go for a slightly different recipe with your tools, you can do so with that reset tools option. So nice to have that. If I go ahead and zoom in on the image, you can see there is some grain applied here, and that grain is being applied through the masking layers. You can choose to add or remove grain with the grain minus plus option. You can just drag that to the left to reduce the amount of grain and drag it to the right to increase the grain. And again, that's just creating that masking layer in here for grain minus plus. So you can choose to either leave it without, or you can add that in and set the amount that you want. So again, here's before, here's after. Just going to bring the exposure up just a tiny touch, and I'll show you that side by side there as well. Love Dynamic Mix 2. Ooh, the drama, love that. Your hard working has paid off. I cannot wait to try all of these. Thank you. Love the moodiness. I missed the announcement. What's happening? I like that Lauren's just summed that up. 4 new presets. Yes, that is exactly what's happening. We are launching an entire new lineup of presets for archipelagopresets.com. We're retiring our entire current range of Archipelago presets and launching 4 brand new sets at the same time. So I'm giving it a sneak preview of each of those 4 sets right now in this live stream. Those are going to be launching very, very soon. It's worth you signing up actually to our newsletter. You're going to find the link for that in the description of the video. It's probably also been put in the chat at some point. If not, it'll go in there shortly. And that's where we'll obviously announce that they are now available when they become available. So you want to make sure you are signed up so you hear about that as soon as it happens. Plus more, stay tuned. Yeah, I love that. Perfection, love that combo. Love a good before and after. All right, so let's move on to the next image, and we'll do another edit with light and ember on this one. So this one here from Amy, really, really beautiful scene here. We have a subject with a nice wild horse. I'm assuming this is Iceland or somewhere similar. Really, really beautiful. So I'm going to bring the temperature up just a little bit here. I'm going to bring the exposure maybe down a tiny touch, but we'll see. Let's go ahead and take a look at the presets. So light and ember 1, light and ember 2, really, really stunning tones. Obviously with this one, you can see how it's treating the greens. Light and ember 3, light and ember 4, that's looking very, very nice. Light and ember 5, and the really beautiful black and white light and ember 6. I'm going to go for light and ember 4 on this one. So I'm going to bring the exposure down just a little bit more. I've got the creative profile. Again, that's set to 100 as default. If I bring that to the left, we get that really muted look. If I bring it to the right, we just create a little bit more shape and dynamic to the image. I think for this, I'll probably increase it a little bit. I've set that to 123 just to kind of create a little bit of shape. Let's take a look at the dynamic mixes just so you can see what they look like on this one. So this is dynamic mix 1, dynamic mix 2, mix 3, and mix 4. So that's your options if you want to kind of go for a pre-made mix, but let's go for a custom one on this one. So let's go through each of these one by one. So I'll go for diffuse first. Now with the tools, you also have the preset amount slider at the top left. So whilst you can go into the masking panel and control the intensity there, super easy. If you apply the preset, you can just dial the intensity up at the top left with the preset amount slider. So I'm going to go for a little bit more diffusion. Background, this is going to control the background mask. So whether we want to darken that down or brighten it up, I'll go for a little bit of the background mask. Contrast, I don't think I want to add much in the way of contrast, maybe just a tiny little bit. So I'll bring that to 16. I'm not going to saturate, so I'm going to leave that as it is. Let's have a look at a vignette, see if we want to do that. Again, I'm not going to go for much, just a little subtle vignette from the edges there, but we could do a lens correction and then we could apply a little bit more of a vignette just to kind of straighten things out, get rid of the distortion, but still have a bit of vignette there. And I think for this, I will be adding some grain. I'm going to go for some quite intense grain, so I'm going to go up to about 120. So this is edited with Light and Ember 4. Creative Profile increased just a little bit there. We've done a bit of a custom edit by applying each of the tools in sequence and dialing in the amount with the preset amount slider. This is before and this is after. And there's your side by side there as well. It's really, really versatile. I think this set is fantastic. It gives that moody look, but you can actually dial it in a couple of different ways. So you could go for something really, really dark using the moody mix or using the background darken. You can decrease or increase the exposure level and then compensate for that with the creative profile, whether you want to go for something really muted or something more punchy. So it is very, very versatile. It gives that moody feel, but it can be delivered in a few different ways. You can kind of go for a light moody feel, especially with the dynamic mix 3 and 4, or you can go for a more deep kind of punchy, dark and broody, moody edit with dynamic mix 1 and 2. So really, really versatile. Very, very good functionality. Obviously, as you can see in both of these examples, skin tones are really, really beautiful. So even though you get that really muted, moody look, skin tones stay really natural and look really beautiful. Winner 1 for the new Archipelago t-shirt is Rachel Stoker. There we go. So we are firing away with some of those brand new Archipelago t-shirts with our new logo on. And Rachel is the first winner. That's very exciting. Laurie said, such a moving photo, it speaks to me. Love that. All right, so that's the first 2 images edited. These ones, let me just go side by side. I'll show you those. These ones both edited with Light and Ember. That is the brand new Moody preset collection that is coming to archipelagopresets.com very, very soon. Just to remind you, these brand new sets all come with a base preset pack. They come with a mobile dedicated preset pack. They have a dedicated tool set as well. They will also come with updates as well, free updates. So if we enhance things in the future, add more functionality or tools, we will actually provide these as free updates. You just need to make sure you create an account on our website when you purchase, and you can take advantage of getting free updates on these new core sets as well. All right, so let's move on to the next set. So the next one is our Filmic preset collection. This one is called Light and Legacy. So I'll go ahead and read the description for Light and Legacy. So designed for lovers of analog film and hybrid film digital photographers, Light and Legacy is a clean film emulation preset collection. Light and Legacy presets are inspired by film stocks and film scanning characteristics that photographers have preferred for decades. Film chemistry made digital brings colors to life with vibrant pastel hues, clean bright whites, and accurate skin tones. So let's take a look at Light and Legacy. So we've got this beautiful image here from Kate. This is what I'm going to be editing with Light and Legacy. So let's go ahead and open the base preset pack, Light and Legacy 1 through 6. So I'm going to start by correcting the exposure, the white balance, all that good stuff as we usually do. I'm going to bring the tint up a good bit here, add a little bit more warmth to the image as well. Exposure might just need to come down a tiny little bit. We'll have a quick look once we've applied the preset, but I think somewhere around about there is looking good. I'm going to start by opening the Light and Legacy toolset as well, just so you can kind of see what we've got going on in here. So there's lots and lots of tools dedicated for this Filmic set here as well. All right, so let's just go through each of the presets one by one. So this is Light and Legacy 1. Really beautiful Filmic look. You can see how it shifts those greens, gives that really nice, almost like a Fuji 400H look with those sort of minty light greens. Just going to bring the exposure down just a tiny touch. Got quite a bit of lens correction on this image. You can see when the preset is applied, these have lens corrections built into them. You can deactivate that. You'll see there is a tool at the bottom of the tool set that is lens correction off. So if you want to switch it off, you can. But having lens correction on really does help to create a more true Filmic look where it has those really nice bright tones edge to edge without the darkening of the corners. So that's Light and Legacy 1. Light and Legacy 2, so you can see there's a little bit of a shift in the tonality. Still has those minty greens in this one, but you can see that the tones shift a little bit. It's less contrasty. If you have different types of images, you'll notice a bigger difference as well. So you'll see differences in colors that aren't present in this particular image. Light and Legacy 3, so these are much more warm toned greens. This to me looks a lot more like a Kodak Portrait sort of film stock, so nice and warm, quite brilliant colors, nice and vibrant. Light and Legacy 4, a little bit more muted. We still have those very sort of more natural looking greens in the background for this one. Light and Legacy 5, another vibrant one. This one's really, really punchy, super, super nice. And then we have Light and Legacy 6. This is the black and white. This has quickly become my new favorite black and white. I know a couple of team members have said a similar thing. Just really, really nice, really clean, but has quite a lot of punch and character to it. So let's go ahead and edit with Light and Legacy 1 on this one. So the creative profile set to 100 as default. If I bring this to the left, and then to the right. So what you're going to see is it's just going to shape the light a little bit differently, and also it further pushes those greens more towards that Filmic teal look. So I'm going to go for the default amount of 100 on this. And then we can go ahead and take a look at the tool set that comes with this as well. So the first tool we have here is Black Burn, and this is just designed to give you deeper shadows and blacks in the image. So obviously the default preset gives that really Filmic look where it has quite muted shadows and blacks, and this can just give a little bit more of a punch. So you can kind of see if I zoom in here, this area here and in the background over here, if I go to Black Burn, you can see it just deepens that down. And of course, because it's a tool set, when you apply the tool, you can set the amount using the preset amount slider. So you can apply that and then dial it in. So let's go ahead and apply that. I'm going to bring it down to 0 up to 200 just so you can kind of see how that works. So if you want to go for something a little bit punchier, kind of lean in a little bit more contrasty, a little bit more modern, you can go for Black Burn and set the amount. Next up we have Sky Recover, and this just helps to again deliver that Filmic look. It's a sky mask that helps to bring some of the exposure back in the sky. Now when you shoot film, it has a really wide latitude, so it's able to retain details across a really wide range of tones, especially in the highlights. So this helps to sort of replicate that by bringing that sky detail back. Now of course in this one we have quite a plain sky, so you're not going to see a huge amount, but this can help to bring some color back into the image, bring some detail into the sky, and just kind of balance out the foreground and the sky a little bit more. So I'm going to set that up to 200. Next we have Green Foliage Minus. So this one is going to reduce the saturation in the green tones of the image. So if you want to kind of back that off a little bit, it's super easy to do. Apply green foliage, set the amount with the preset amount slider. Then we have Saturation Depth. As the name suggests, it's just going to add more saturation into the image. And again, preset amount slider, you can dial it to exactly where you like. So if you want to go for something a little bit richer, you could apply this and then dial it back or increase it until you find a kind of a look that you like. Next up, we have the Pastel Pink Exposure +1 and the Pastel Yellow Exposure +1. And these are some of my favorite tools to have come out. I've been using these on everything since they were created. So these add an overtone to the image. So that's either a pink overtone or a yellow overtone. Again, quite characteristic of film. And they also boost the exposure of the midtones as well. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the exposure down just a little bit more. I'm going to take a look at Pastel Pink Exposure +1. So you can see there's a pink running through the image now, and it also has that little boost in the midtones there. So it delivers a little bit of a different look. And then we can also take a look at the yellow version. So again, it's just pushing some yellow overtone into the image and boosting that midtone exposure by a full stop. I'm going to go for Pastel Pink on this. I think it complements the image really well. And I'm going to set that to about 110, so just a little higher than the default amount. But I've been loving those. I've been using those with the other brand new core sets as well. So don't be scared to mix and match. But of course, this is designed to go in partnership with Light and Legacy. Next up, we have Subject Shadow Plus and Background Shadow Plus. Nice, quick, easy way of adapting the shadows either on the subject or on the background. So you can obviously balance things out as you like. Now with this image, we don't need to do that. It's been exposed beautifully, but if you do need to kind of lift the subject shadows or lift the background shadows, you can do that really easily with those two. Then we have Background Diffusion, and this one I love. This is going to soften up the background of the image, adding that nice diffused effect as if you have a filter on your lens. Film does typically give its own level of diffusion as well, so this really helps to kind of sell that filmic look. If I zoom in here, you can see the background with it up at full and down at 0. I'm going to go for a good amount of that because I love the way it looks, about 156. Get that nice soft diffused look in the background. Then next we have some tools, again, just to help deliver that filmic look. So we have Film Scanner Dust and Scratches. So this adds dust and scratches over the image to just replicate an actual film scan where dust gets onto the film as it's being scanned and becomes present in the image. So you get a nice little texture on the image. So if I go ahead and hover over this, in fact, let's give it a click. You might be able to see here, you got some little specks, some little scratches on the image, and again you can dial the amount. You can back it off if you want something more subtle, or you can increase it if you want something more obvious. I'm going to leave it at the default amount of 100, but you can see how they run just across the image, giving that nice true filmic look. Now there is grain applied as default with these presets, but we have some grain presets in here as well, so grain tools, and these replicate the look of real film grain. So first we have the 35mm film grain. You've got that in ISO 100, which is a fine film grain, but quite large because it's 35mm, the grain appears a little bit larger. Then we have an ISO 800 version, so a little bit more intense, and ISO 3200 for a really intense, gritty kind of textured grain. Then we have two versions of medium format grain. So with medium format film, the negative is larger, and that means that the grain tends to appear smaller and less obvious. So we have a 100 ISO version of the medium format grain, so very, very subtle. This is really nice if you want to introduce the texture of grain, but not obviously. And then we have a 400 ISO version that just pushes that a little bit more and gives a little bit more of a gritty grain look, but still small grain size due to it being medium format. I'm going to leave the default grain. You can, of course, turn the grain off completely. We have the grain off option here, and that will just deactivate the grain. Now the grain is applied again in the masking panel. The reason that we do that is the grain in the masking panel looks different to the grain in the effects panel. So if you go into the effects panel, you'll see that the grain is off, but there is currently grain on the image, and that's being applied up here in the masking panel. And that's because this grain has a different type of texture than the grain in the effects panel, and it looks nicer and more accurate to film. So we have been preferring the look of this by having it here in the masking panel, but of course you've got a nice easy way to switch it off with the grain off tool here. And then lastly, we have the lens correction off. So if you want to disable the lens correction that's applied as default, you can do so with lens correction off. But like I said, it can help to sell that filmic look by having the nice clean edge to edge look with the lens correction on. All right, so this is before, this is after. There's your side by side. That's edited with Light and Legacy 1. Caroline said, this isn't even my style and I still need this set. Love that. I've seen that the chat's been popping off in the corner of my eye. I am trying to keep an eye on it, but it is it's very busy in there today, which is great. Thank you so much for all your interaction. Oh yes, I love adding texture to my images, giving them that old world vibe. Love that they are so specific for film. Thank you, Rachel. Love that. Just take my money already. Not just yet, not just yet. Very soon though. You haven't got long to wait, let me tell you. This is so dreamy and the photo is so stunning. I'm off to follow Kate immediately. Love that, Krista. Thank you so much. Yes, just as a reminder, we have the photographers' names and their Instagram handle up at the top left of each of these images. Do go and follow them on Instagram. Give them some support if you enjoy their image. We love getting to work with them and getting beautiful images like this to use to showcase our presets. Okay, so let's edit another image with this set. So this one is another one from Kate, another beautiful photo. I'm going to bring the exposure up quite a bit on this one. I'm going to bring a little bit more warmth in through the temperature. I'm going to go somewhere around about there. And then let's take a look at the presets. So Light and Legacy 1, really nice. Light and Legacy 2, Light and Legacy 3. That's looking nice, a little bit punchier, a little bit more contrasty. Light and Legacy 4, 5, and the beautiful black and white Light and Legacy 6. I'm going to go for 3, I think, on this one. Creative profile, left and right. I really like the look of it here, dragged to the right, so it just adds a little bit of cool toning, shifts those greens to being more teal, and also adds a little bit of a boost in those highlights there as well. So I'm going to crank that up to 200. And let's have a quick look. Maybe saturation depth. I'm going to apply that and just bring it down a little bit, just to have a little bit more saturation over here. Pastel yellow exposure +1. I'm going to definitely go for that on this, just to kind of give that nice overexposed look to the image. Going to bring the exposure down a little bit to compensate. Don't need to do diffusion. I like the grain level. Let's leave that as it is. Yeah, I think that's the edit. So this is with Light and Legacy 3. We've got the creative profile cranked all the way up to 200. And we've used a couple of tools on here as well. This is before, this is after. There's your side-by-side. Really beautiful tones. If I zoom in to 100, you can see those greens, how they render. The kind of magenta color here. Skin tones looking super beautiful and natural. Really, really pretty all across the frame. Nikki said, "Welp, I'm going to need these." Love that. Stop it with these images. So good. Oh, and look at that. Lauren has announced the next t-shirt winner. Tyler, you are getting your hands on that brand new Archipelago t-shirt. For anyone that's tuned in late, let me just show you. This is our brand new Archipelago t-shirt. This has our new Archipelago logo on there. So this is the first time everyone's getting to see the brand new logo, and this is the first piece of merchandise with that logo on. So that's the second person in this live chat to win a free t-shirt. We've got more to give away, so stick around, keep chatting away. You're in with a chance of winning one of those incredible t-shirts. All right, so let's go back to the main image. This before, this is after. Beautiful, beautiful photo by Kate. Shirt cannon strikes again. Love that. Kate said, "Thanks so much, everyone. Feeling a bit emotional seeing all this." Love that, Kate. Okay, so let's go back actually to the images. Let's take a look at both of Kate's images side by side. Let's wait for that one to render. And we can see both those Light and Legacy edits beautifully side by side. So that's our Filmic preset. This is our core lineup of presets. You've seen the Moody, Light and Ember, and now you've seen the Filmic, Light and Legacy. All right, so next up we have our Earthy preset collection. So this one's called Light and Ochre. I'm going to go ahead and read the description for Light and Ochre now. So Light and Ochre is the quintessential Earthy preset collection with tones and hues inspired by the natural pigments of the painter's palette. Each preset gives you a base edit with colors ranging from golden sand dunes and red desert rocks to sandy, distant, stormy, purple mountains and verdant forests and fields. So again, this is our Earthy preset collection. Got this image here from Shelby to showcase this one to you. I can see someone's just subscribed to the channel. Thank you so much. If you are tuned in live and you're not yet subscribed to the channel, do hit the subscribe button, give the video a like if you're enjoying the stream, jump in the chat and say hello. We're doing a giveaway for a free Archipelago Presets t-shirt with our brand new logo on. So if you keep chatting away in the live chat, we'll be giving t-shirts away all the way through the rest of this stream. So I'm editing with the 4 brand new preset collections that we'll be launching soon. These form our 4 core preset collections coming to archipelagopresets.com. This is our brand new lineup. All 4 of those sets will launch at the same time, replacing our current lineup. So we've taken a look at the first 2 sets. We're now looking at the 3rd set, which is the Earthy one. If you are tuned in late, don't worry, you can rewatch this stream once it's finished. So stick around and then you can rewatch the beginning if you missed it. All right, so let's take a look at Light and Ochre. I'll go ahead and open the set here and I'll open the dedicated tool set as well. So I'm going to start by increasing the temperature just to get a nice natural look on this. I'm going to bring the exposure up just a little bit. And then let's take a look at these Earthy presets in Light and Ochre. So L and O1. Again, you have those masks built into the preset. So as you apply it, you can see it renders the subject and the background slightly differently. So this one has that really nice, rich, earthy tonality to it. Really does lean into that ochre look that the name suggests. Light and Ochre 2, a little bit more green toned, still really earthy, really woodsy, very, very beautiful. Light and Ochre 3. A little bit more contrasty, kind of balances between those first 2, has a warm tone, but still with a little bit of green running through there as well. Light and Ochre 4, really, really beautiful. That could be the winner on this image. Light and Ochre 5, that's also looking super, super nice on this. It's got a little bit of brighter highlights to it, slight magenta tone in throughout as well. And then we have the black and white Light and Ochre 6, also stunning. So let's have a look through these. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to go with 4, I think, on this one. So again, we have the creative profile. That is Light and Ochre creative profile set to 100 as default. Sean said 5. All right, let's go for 5. Sean and Richard have both said 5, so let's go for it. Light and Ochre 5. So let's have a look at the creative profile. So set to 100 as default. Let's bring this to the left and to the right. So you can see it adds that nice earthy tonality in. It kind of really pushes the contrast level as well. So you can set the amount of mood and the amount of that earthy toning that you want. I'm going to leave it at 100 for now. I might increase it just a little bit. Let's have a quick look. About there, 111. So just a little bit of an increase. All right, so let's take a look at the tool set. So in here, we have some really beautiful sounding tools. And these are obviously described after the different pigments that they replicate. So we have Australian Vivianite up at the top here. I'll just kind of run through these one by one. So Australian Vivianite, if I hover over that, these are veneers. So they use a masking layer to apply this effect over the top of whichever base preset you have applied. And you can then, of course, dial it in. So if I was to apply this, but I just wanted a little bit of this color, I can bring it down to 0, increase it slowly until I'm at a level that I like, and leave it there. And that's because they apply it over the top in the masking layer. So this one is Australian Vivianite. Next up, we have Burnt Sienna. Iron Oxide Pigment. Italian Green Earth. French Red Ochre. And Italian Yellow Ochre. So lots of tone options there to be able to dial and tweak the look with these veneers. And then in addition to that, we have grain mask off. Again, grain is applied as default with these particular presets, and you can switch that off with the grain mask off. And then we have a lens correction. So lens correction is not included with the presets for this set, just because when you go for that earthy look, having a little bit of vignette natural in the image is quite nice and lends to the look, but you can add lens correction if you want to clean that up. I'm not going to, because I like the way it looks on this. And then we have a reset tools option, which just resets those back to the base presets. So for this, I quite like the look of Italian Green Earth, but I'm going to dial it back to 0, up to 200. I'm going to go back to 0 and just bring up a little bit of this. It's just bringing some of the blues in, some of the greens in. Super, super nice. So that's set of 52. And if I go to reset tools, you can see this is the base preset, and this is with the veneer applied over the top. So again, that's just in its own layer here, Italian Green Earth. So you can go in here and dial it at any point. So here's before and here's after. Let me show you that side by side there as well. Super, super nice. I'll zoom in. I think on this, actually, I'd probably just drop the exposure just a little bit, just to kind of lean into the moody, earthy look. But look at the skin tones, really, really beautiful. Just the kind of, obviously this has got some nice complementary earthy tones in the image already, so it suits it really, really well. You can see how the greens have rendered in the background over here at the cliffs. And it's maintained that nice sky detail there as well. Samantha said, wow, I'm going to need all these sets. Melting face. Subtle and gorgeous. Love the Italian Green Earth. I want to buy. Don't worry, rhinos. You will get to buy soon. These tones, I need all these sets. Jefferson 19 said, these browns and skin tones I love. Too beautiful. It's a crime. Love that. All right, so before and after. Wonderful image from Shelby, edited with the new soon to be released Earthy preset collection, Light and Ochre. All right, so let's do another image with this set. So I have this one here from Kea. I'm gonna bring the exposure up on this. I'm gonna add a little bit more warmth just to kind of maintain the nice rich warmth that we can see going on in the image here. So Light and Ochre 1. Love that mood, super nice. Really rich earthy tones. Light and Ochre 2. Light and Ochre 3. Light and Ochre 4. Light and Ochre 5. And Light and Ochre 6. I am going to go for one of these. I'm not sure which, maybe 4. Maybe I'll go for 4 this time because you didn't let me have that last time. I'm going to go for Light and Ochre 4. I'm going to increase the exposure just a little bit just to make sure the subject's hands are nicely exposed. Again, creative profile, bring that to 0 up to 200 so you can just dial in exactly how much punch, how much of that earthy tone you want. I'm going to bring it back just a little bit, about 87 for this. And then let's see if we want to add one of those beautiful veneers to this. So let's go through those again. Australian Vivianite, Burnt Sienna, Iron Oxide Pigment, Italian Green Earth, French Red Ochre, and Italian Yellow Ochre. I'm going to go for the Yellow Ochre on this. It just adds a little bit more of that golden color back in to the image, and it just kind of shifts those greens to be a little bit more golden there as well. It's a nice cohesive color palette in this image. Again, we've got grain mask off if you want to switch it off, lens correction if you need to add that. This image already has that on as default. So this is before, this is after. That's with Light and Ochre 4. Creative profile just reduced a tiny little bit. We've used Italian Yellow Ochre as the veneer over the top of this as well. There is your side by side. And right on time, Lauren's announced the next free t-shirt winner, and that is Taylor. Congratulations, Taylor. You're getting your hands on the brand new Archipelago t-shirt with our new logo. Just email us and we'll get that sorted out for you. Congratulations. That's the 3rd t-shirt we're giving away during this live stream. We've got more to come. So stay tuned. Keep chatting away. Laurie said, and then add one of your sunbursts. Wowzer. Can't wait to play. Yes, love that. Kamal said, wow, black and white preset, heart eyes. Very, very good. So again, before, after, And let's go back. So let's take a look at both these ones edited with the Earthy preset collection. That is light and ochre. Really, really gorgeous tonality. Erin, I'm always happy to see such beautiful colors come out of Canon files in the absence of Adobe color profiles. It brings so much more life to CR2 and CR3 files. Thank you, Erin. Oh my gosh, yay, thank you so much. That's Taylor who's won the free t-shirt. Congratulations. Okay, so we've got the last 2 images to edit now, and that's with the last of the brand new sets that we'll be releasing shortly, and that is our True Color preset collection that is called Light and Truth. So I'll read the description for Light and Truth. So Light and Truth is the culmination of years of development and refinement, resulting in a preset collection that effortlessly elevates your images to their full potential. These presets have been meticulously crafted to enhance your photos with true-to-life colors, crisp, bright whites, and natural skin tones, all while preserving the authenticity of the captured scene. Whether you're shooting weddings, portraits, or product images, these presets provide the perfect balance of subtlety and style, allowing you to achieve a polished look with just a few clicks. So let's take a look at Light and Truth. So we have the base preset collection and we have the tool set for Light and Truth as well. So we got this image here from Jesus, really, really beautiful image. I'm just going to go ahead and do a quick removal of this individual in the background. My apologies, individual. I am going to remove you from the photo because you're a little bit distracting. Otherwise, stunning image. So I'll let that do its thing with the generative AI. There we go, as if by magic. Okay, so let's take a look at this preset collection. I'm going to start by setting the exposure level. I'm just going to bring it up a little bit here, add a little bit more warmth just to be a little bit more true to the scene. And then let's take a look at these presets. So Light and Truth is true color, as the description explained there. And it kind of formulates a variety of different presets that cover different styles. So they're all true color, but they have a different dynamic to each of the presets, allowing you to use them across different scenes, or if you have a different stylistic preference. So let's take a look at Light and Truth 1. Now this one's going to be perfect if you want a really balanced look, you have a nicely exposed scene. You're going to find that this is one click and done for that really beautiful true tone look. So again, this is before and this is after. Really, really beautiful. Light and Truth 2 has a little bit more contrast, so it is good for maybe backlit scenes, or if you want to add more punch and contrast to the image. It pushes those highlights a bit brighter, deepens the blacks, but keeps all the colors nice and true. Light and Truth 3 is a brighter and contrasty preset, so it lifts those midtones, it pushes the highlights, so you get this really nice bright and airy look, all true and natural colors, but with a little bit more warmth in there as well. Then we have Light and Truth 4. This one has more of a filmic look to it. So you can see it has those muted shadows and midtones, but it still has that true color. So all the colors remain accurate, but you get that nice filmic tonality to it. Then we have Light and Truth 5, which is more sort of moody, maybe cinematic, where it's kind of muted in the highlights, kind of a low level of contrast, and again, nicely balanced between the highlights and shadows. And then we have the black and white, which is Light and Truth 6. So a nice natural black and white, quite punchy, quite contrasty, but nicely balanced. None of these presets have grain on as default, so they're super clean and easy to work with. So for this, I'm going to use Light and Truth 1. That looks super nice as the one click. Amazing set for weddings and portraits. That's from Sean. Yes. Oh my goodness, Light and Truth is stunning. Can't wait for that one. Has said, been after a true color set for my weddings, this looks so perfect. So let's take a look at the creative profile. So Light and Truth creative profile, bring it to the left and to the right. So you can see what it does is it either reduces or increases the mid-tone level and adds a subtle warmth there. So you just get the kind of glowy effect, almost as if it's just kind of enhancing the glowing light. So I think for this, I'm going to increase it a little bit just because it suits this scene really nicely. So we get that nice kind of warm glow and lifted midtones. And then we have the Light and Truth tool set. So up at the top, we have Picture Perfect. And this is a tool that actually applies a multitude of different masks at the same time. So one click, it will enhance things like the sky. It will darken the background, mainly from the bottom of the image. It will add softness to the background, so reducing sort of the clarity levels and giving a little bit more separation. It will do a subtle skin smoothing. It will enhance eyes. It will add a little bit more contrast and saturation to hair, all with one click. So if I go ahead and click on Picture Perfect, we'll give that a couple of seconds to work its magic. And there is the result. So this is it set at 100. So I'll bring it back down to 0. So this is without, up to 200, and back down to 0. So you can see it's doing lots of things at the same time. It's just slightly darkening the bottom of the frame. It's bringing the detail back into the sky and enhancing the colors. It's lifting the subjects a little bit. It's adding a little bit of skin smoothing. Obviously we can't see their eyes in this, but it would do an eye mask just to kind of enhance the eyes and the hair as well. So I'm going to increase this nice and high. Let's go up to 200. In fact, let's zoom in. I'll zoom in a bit further so you can see, just so you can see what it's doing to the subject. So down at 0, up at 200. So it's just a subtle skin smoothing effect, enhancing the hair, enhancing the eyes, softening up the background, enhancing the sky, all with one click. You can, of course, go in and dial these. So when you go into the masking panel, you're going to see all of those masks applied, and you can go to any particular one and increase or decrease the amount. Some of them, even if you max out at 200, you can actually push it even further. So you can go in here and dial each of them. So let's say if you wanted to do the hair, we can just bring that to the left or to the right. So you can kind of just do that in the masking panel here, dial it all into your taste, but a nice one-click solution. It gives really beautiful results with that one click. Next up, we have Backlight Fix, and this is designed to help in backlit situations. It lifts the subject, adds a little bit more clarity, darkens down the background, again, all with one click. Now, we don't really have a backlit scene here, but it is quite a bright scene. So if I go ahead and bring the exposure down just a little bit, and I'll show you what it does, even though I wouldn't necessarily use it on this scene. So this is Backlight Fix. So it does kind of pop the subject out, gives you a little bit more definition and separation between the subject and background. So this is down at 0. This is up at 200, which you would not do on this image, but you might find that, let's go for something like 30 is just a nice amount to lift the subjects, darken the background, and now we've kind of got a nice balanced look between the two. You can see more of the detail in the sky, all that kind of good stuff. Lens correction, I think this image would benefit from, just because it kind of cleans up these corners down here that are quite dark and straightens out our horizon line. So that's looking really nice. And then next up, we have the blue tone and green tone tools. So these are presets that shift the tonality of blues and greens. And that's because those two colors are the ones that we often find we want to adjust as photographers. So if you want to go for a really true color look, but you want to have control over how the blues appear or how the greens appear, that's what these are designed to do. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in down here where we can see the flowers and this little bit of foliage in the background. We don't have much blue in this scene, but we can definitely take a look at the greens. The next image, I can show you the blues. So each of these tone tools provide a slightly different look to that particular color. So in this case, green. Some of them are darker, some of them are warmer, some of them are lighter, others are cooler. So let's take a look at green tone 1. So you can see that's a little bit of a cooler tone. It's quite desaturated, and it's also reduced the luminance of the greens. So again, without and with. Then we have green tone 2. This is also a lower luminance, so a little bit darker, but it's pushed towards the warm tones and reducing the saturation. So that's green tone 2. Next up, my personal favorite, green tone 3. This one lifts the luminance of the greens and pushes it more towards that kind of teal look. Really, really beautiful. So again, this is without and with green tone 3. And then green tone 4, lifted luminance, more warmth. And again, this is before and after. So I'm going to go for green tone 3 on this. As with all of these tools, if I want to go in and dial it, I can just use the preset amount slider to set the greens exactly where I want them. So I'm going to go for 100. I think that looks really nice as it is. And the same applies for the blues. So again, 4 different kind of tonality of blue with different shifts in the hue and the luminance. So just complete control over the image. You also have a reset option within each of those, which just disables that layer if you want to change that later. So let's take a look at the before and after. That's edited with Light and Truth 1. We've got the creative profile increased to 184. We've used Picture Perfect that applies a multitude of different masks to enhance the image. We've also used a little bit of backlight fix, and we've shifted the green tones with Green Tone 3. So I'll show you that side by side. Love the Picture Perfect masking feature, huge time saver. Gary said, I'm currently out with the kids in McDonald's, but what I've caught glimpses of looks stunning, incredible set of tools and presets. Can't wait to try them out. Love that, Gary. Thank you so much. Caroline, you have thoughts of everything. Amazing. Ashley said, I don't think I can pick just one set to get right now. Love that. Get them all. Get them all. Why not? Can't believe how much you've packed into these new presets. Just phenomenal. Thank you, Kate. Naomi said, Green Tone 3, I love. Yeah, that's the one that I've been using on everything. I love that kind of lifted, minty kind of look to the greens. Again, it's just nice to have that option. You know, if you're going for true color, but you just want to kind of dial that in and go for something a little bit different to what the kind of natural colors are giving you, it works really well for that. Samantha said, I'm crying at how much time this is going to save me. Love that. Victoria, I'd like to purchase all. When can I do that? Lol, need them now. Don't worry, Victoria, you have not got long to wait. They are going to be available very, very soon. I can't tell you the date, but it's very soon. All right, so again, before and after with Light and Truth. All right, so we're on to the last image, this one from Shannon. And we're going to edit this one with Light and Truth as well. I'm going to go ahead and straighten it up just a tiny little bit. So exposure is looking good. I would probably bring the tint down just a little bit, add a little bit of warmth just to kind of enhance those colors. Let's take a look at the presets. So Light and Truth 1, Light and Truth 2, Light and Truth 3, Light and Truth 4, Light and Truth 5, and the black and white Light and Truth 6. I'm going to go for Light and Truth 5 on this one, so kind of go for that a little bit more cinematic look with the slightly muted highlights and nice saturation levels. So the Light and Truth creative profile, again, this is set at 100. This is down at 0, up at 200. I'm going to crank it. I'm going to go up quite high, probably about 180, just to add a little bit more warmth and lift those midtones. So that's looking really good already. This is before and after. Really, really nice. So let's take a look at those tools. Picture Perfect, first of all. Give that a second to add all those layers at the same time. So this is it at 100. I'll bring it back down to 0, up to 200. So you can see how it's enhancing all aspects of the image at the same time. So this, again, 0, up at 200. I really like it probably cranked all the way up on this. Let me zoom in. You can see the subject here as well. So this is it down at 0, up at 200. So I'm going to go for that. But the sky is quite saturated. So I'm going to go into the masking panels. I'm going to go to Perfect Sky. I'm just going to dial that one back just a little bit, maybe to about there, about 78. So just so it's not quite as intense, but all the rest I really like. Again, this is without and this is with. Again, in this situation, we don't have a backlit scene. It's kind of side light on this one, but quite direct light. So let's give backlight fix a look and we'll see what it does. Really, really nice. So it just adds a little bit more shape and dimension to the image, pops the subject out a little bit more, darkens down that background, just balances things out. So again, down at 0, up at 200. Obviously, I wouldn't go that high on this. It doesn't really need it. I'm going to go probably about there. So about 60. So again, this isn't a backlit scene. If you have a truly backlit scene, you can see just how powerful this is, and you may even want to crank it all the way up to 200. It does a really nice job of just lifting up the subject, adding more contrast to them, darkening down the background as well. It just really balances things out if you have a harsh backlit scene, but it can work really nice on images like this as well. Lens correction, doesn't need it on this image, it already has it applied. I'm going to zoom into the subject here because the subject's wearing this blue top, so we'll take a look at those blue tone tools. So blue tone 1, so you can see there's a little shift in the hue of the default. It also drops the luminance a little bit as well. So it becomes a little bit more purple toned and the luminance is dropped down slightly. Blue tone 2 lifts that luminance up and shifts the blue more towards teal. So you get that kind of little bit of a teal greenish tone introduced into the blues and lifted up the luminance. Blue tone 3, so this is without and with. Again, slightly teal toned, but it's not as lifted in its luminance range. And then blue tone 4, which is darkened luminance and slightly teal tone. So again, before and after. That's the one I'm going to use on this. Now I can go ahead and set the amount. So you can see down at 0, up at 200, it almost becomes green, but I'm going to go for something in between the two. So just kind of something a little bit more stylized in the color, about there, 85. Obviously, the intensity of the color in your image will determine how much of an effect this has. This isn't a super saturated blue, but if you did have a super saturated blue, you're going to see more of a difference between each of those 4 tone options. And again, it's just there to give you the control over those 2 kind of key colors that we often struggle with in images. Keep everything true tone, but just dial those to your taste and liking. And I'll zoom back in actually. We'll go to about here just so that you can see. I go in and turn all the masking layers off. This is just the base preset, and this is with those masking layers. So again, does a really nice job of just lifting things up, darkening down the background, softening the skin just a little bit. It's not overly drastic in the skin softening. It's just a nice subtle amount on the face of the subjects. Obviously, we've kind of used the backlight fix tool there as well. So this is before. And this is after, and that's edited with Light and Truth 5. I'll show you that side by side there as well. Gary said the AP team have outdone themselves. Well done. Thank you so much, Gary. Goodness, it just gets better and better. Thank you, Julia. This is so flipping perfect for images like this. Thank you, Krista. This makes this girl's heart happy. That's from Victoria. Love that. Thank you. This image, each time I look at a different area, I can see more details. Love it. Really love that, Danny. Jefferson said, about to go sell some plasma for all of these. Love that. It's the vibe we want. Lauren has announced the winner number 4 of a free Archipelago t-shirt, and that is Samantha Turner. Congratulations, Samantha. You're getting your hands on one of those brand new Archipelago t-shirts with our new logo on. Thank you so much to you. So Sean pointed out, right now we have everything in the Archipelago shop at 50% off, including some of our most beloved sets back from the vault. So we have actually brought a couple of sets back just for this last hurrah of the presets before they get retired. They're all 50% off right now. You don't need a code. That's all for our current lineup of presets at archipelagopresets.com. And they will be retired as these 4 brand new preset collections and the 3 tool sets launch. They're all launching at the same time and replacing all of those old sets. So do take advantage if you have your eye on any of our current sets. But if you're going to hold your cash to one side, ready to get your hands on these, trust me, you don't have long to wait. They are right around the corner. Make sure you sign up for our newsletter. The link is in the description. It's also just gone in the chat there from Sean as well. Sign up to that because that's where we're going to announce when these sets are live and ready to go. But thank you so much for tuning in. It's been really exciting to finally share this with you. Like I said, we've been working on this behind the scenes for months. We're really proud of these sets. We're really, really excited to get them out there and for you to get your hands on them. So not long before that happens now. I'm just glad to get the news out. Keep your eye on the Facebook group as well, Archipelago Collective. We'll be sharing more kind of teasers. We will kind of share some little videos and things like that in there just to kind of get you hyped up and ready for these to launch. But trust me, you don't have long before these become available. So yeah, get excited if you aren't already. If you tune in late, do remember just to watch the kind of the live stream back. You can rewatch it once it ends, just so you can kind of see everything that we're going to be launching very soon. But that's it. That's our brand new lineup of Archipelago presets. Thank you again to everyone for tuning in. It's been great to have you on this live stream. Lots of great energy in the chat there. Congratulations to those 4 people that won the free Archipelago t-shirt. Again, that's what you're going to be getting your hands on. Do reach out to us on the email. We'll get that sent over to you. And I'll see you in another live stream very, very soon.